Now, the social media is a dynamic online medium that has changed the way of life of people all over the world. It has grown much more beyond a tool for entertainment and has metamorphosed into a tool for social change and justice, a tool for holding public officials accountable. But like everything else, there is a dark side to the use of social media. Its lack of regulation has brought about its abuse, as some persons make use of platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to spread falsehood and fake news. Videos, pictures, and information can be distorted on these platforms to elicit a desired reaction from the public. Officers of the Federal Road Safety Corps have come under fire on the social media many times when videos of them performing their jobs are distorted to show otherwise. This has become a source of concern for the Federal Road Safety Corps, and the Lagos State Sector Commander of the Commission, Olusegun Ogungbemide, is in the studio to address all of this, and he will help us make sense of some of these things. It's nice to have you join me this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Great to see you. We've not seen this year. So Happy New Year, let me say.
You're a very busy person.
You are busy too.
Happy New Year, dear.
Well done,
Happy
well
New
done.
Year.
Now, we've heard, in fact, social media has been awash with a lot of videos and pictures sometimes of your men, sometimes not even just in Lagos, but
Yes.
parts of the country. You know, some we've heard they take bribes, you know, in some of the videos. Some we hear them, you know, saying different things. But let's hear from you firsthand. What are some of those reports that you've been getting, especially on social media?
Thank you very much. Well, anytime you hear social media, what comes to your mind first is the analysis, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And the ugly.
It was the moment I sight a uniform on social media, I get hype in the sense that I know naturally you hardly see something positive when it concerns the uniform. You hardly see the good aspect of us going viral on social media. So the moment I cite that information on social media,
say,
before
what is it
opening
again?
it, it's like,
What is it again?
Is it this time around? And I've never been disappointed. It's always the negative aspect of it. And I do ask the question, as a leader, as a manager, I say, is it that people don't see the other good sides of the establishment? Why do we always emphasize more on the negative side? So it's always a thing of concern to FRSC as an establishment, because we believe that the reason why we have this, I don't want to use the word attacks, or let me say negative projection through the social media, is because of what we have called ourselves to be. An elite corps that does not compromise, that does not have any relationship with anything dirty, you know, decent and dignified establishment. So when there's a little, you know, misnomer somewhere, you see people rushing to say, see what they claim to be, see what they are. But severally, most of the information you receive on this social media as against FRSC are mostly distorted. And that has the disturbing aspect of it. Because when your intention is actually to attack an individual, you have forgotten
the public
that the individual you are trying to attack does not have an identity as long as he's adoring this uniform. Many people will not know me. They will only know FRSC man sitting with you here. So it goes a long way to have a negative effect on the psyche of that establishment.
Now, the way you are concerned, we also assume that even the headquarters in Abuja will be concerned too. But within that quarter, is there anything the FRSC is doing in that regard? How troubling is it to them, and what are they hoping to do about this?
Well, just a reflection of headquarters, because it cascades down from headquarters to the field. Especially the Corps Marshal, Dr. Babuyo Yemi, who has admonished us severally on the need to sustain the integrity of the Corps. He's never happy. I know he's virtually everywhere. The effort he puts into bringing FRSC to this status. So it's always a painful event anytime he sees something negative about the call. And the first thing he will do, he will just send it to you to react. You understand? You know what it means. You know the hits that will come on you at that moment. And eventually, by the time we try to analyze, we'll discover that this video is already edited, distorted to favor whoever that is sending it. And most time, you just realize that the video that is even trending is as stale as social media itself. Maybe something that happened 2 years ago. Let me take, for example, the one that happened on Sapele Road in Benin.
Okay.
The thing repeated itself, started getting trending again towards the NSAS event. Somebody, a mischievous somebody somewhere, wanted to use it to express the brutality of FRSC because of the NSAS slogan. And it actually paid off for them, because that was what provoked some members of the public. And meanwhile, it happened 6 months before the NSAS saga. And unfortunately, you know, Yoruba says the hears that hears the coming might not really wait to see the outcome of the incident. That particular social media that trended on Sapele Road issue, the man that went nude was eventually sentenced to 3 months imprisonment by the court, meaning that FRSC was not actually at fault. But somebody edited that video to achieve a particular aim. And when you are also affected by the activities of FRSC, rather than assessing the normal administrative process of seeking for justice, you see many people rushing to social media. You can't fight your case. You only judge from your own line of advantage. You never send anything on social media that will favor the other party. You only do the one that will favor you. Is that justice?
Well, I wonder how this is impacting, because at times like this, like you said, your officers are on the road, whether in the rain or in the sun, they're doing whatever they need to do. And when they get this, especially when it is not true, from what you're saying, if it is distorted and it's not true, I wonder how it impacts on their morale and their readiness to put all their effort into it.
Your guess is as good as mine. And that's why, as a leader, you have a bigger role to play, because they are demoralized, especially the officer involved. Because FRSC will have zero tolerance to any misconduct whatsoever pertaining to our staff. Because the moment we cite it on social media, the officer is picked, or the team, and the investigation will commence. Even before the directives from the commercial will know it's statutory. And you can imagine if the man actually put in his best, and the aggrieved offender just wanted to get back at him, and there's no explanation he will give, because naturally you still want to tend to the trend. The comment from members of the public gets to us. Irresponsible people, irresponsible establishment. And there's no leader that would like to hear such comment from members of the public that would tend to serve. So that officer is kept aside for investigation. Naturally, that group would not be at peace for that moment. There's no assignment to give to them that will get the best out of them. And tomorrow, even when they are exonerated, the confidence is rubbed off. And that's the area I'm actually concerned when it comes to our law enforcement agencies. Let us not use our interest to destroy the system. There is no establishment that will send out its men outside there to go and misbehave. Let us try each issue as it comes on individuals.
In its own merit.
On its merit. Because when you have a process, you have administrative process, you have the judiciary, and that is the one that is recognized by law. If anybody has in my office, you have a way of contacting me. We have virtually all our social media handles. We have Savicom in my office. You have our website. You have the contact of the sector commander. Rather than destroying the system via the social media. You know, social media is not just Nigerian thing. It's all over the world.
Worldwide.
Because at times when something goes trend, nobody waits to know whether it's right or wrong. They send it. You see people even sending it back from outside the country. And when we start talking about transparency stuff, you see Nigeria being rated wrongly. In some of these things they pick, HB is coming from your country. So we can as well use it to assess you. I wouldn't know the criteria. but you hardly see some Western negative things coming to us.
Yeah.
But ours is virtually all over without being analyzed.
How do you intend to engage the public in this? Because we still have the challenge of regulating social media. There hasn't been a world standard of how no country, even the United States, have not come to terms with how do we regulate or handle social media. It is out there. It is a world of its own. So how do you intend to handle this and engage the public?
It's a very sensitive one and also very complex at the same time. But the best you can do at this moment is to exhaust all your own approach to our headquarters. The public education department is actually doing a very great job, because the moment it comes, there's always this message either to counter it or to tell you what the system is doing to deal with the parties involved and what have you. And we also have all the opportunities made available for members of the public to reach out to the management of FRSC, rather than getting the social media as a means of getting justice and damaging the system. But we also continue to plead with members of the public, which I'm also doing here now, that we should keep eyes off that individual that must have committed or that must have expressed that misconduct, but think about the impact on the system. The role FRSC plays needs a lot of commitment and confidence. Also look at the better aspect of us, because I do spoke with some media guys sometimes. I said, when you see these social media issues, especially the negative ones, please try and investigate before you assist in pushing it. Also think of the positive aspect of FRSC. The other man that threw, the offender that threw that policeman into the canal, that thing didn't trend more than 2 days. It didn't trend more than 2 days because it's to the public side. But the one, assuming is the other side, it will have been going on and on and on and on till the person is satisfied. So we have all the avenue for us to reach out to members of the public, but it's their own decision to take it. Because where it's more critical is because of our youth. The kind of message we pass to them, to them is fun. They don't really understand the implication of this and the kind of comments, the traumatic information you hear when you are involved, especially our staff that are involved. Series of names, so many terrible names that are called, even the establishment, forgetting the other good aspect of the job. And so terrible, we go late at night to rescue at the risk of our lives. We try to stop someone that will have led to the death of another person on the road in form of enforcement by removing all those bad vehicles from the road. But all things are always turned around against the system. I think we can approach this in a better way, through better sensitization.
The video you mentioned where someone was either seemed to be refusing arrest and then somehow threw an officer into the canal and all of that. We've seen so many things like that take different dimensions. When people refuse arrest and they try to, find a way to, how do you handle situations like that? Because sometimes they go and they go. Is there a way you get the person's number and then somehow another sector is radioed or something and then the person is brought to book?
This is where FRSC has gotten it right, perfectly right, because of our robust database. There is no vehicle or driver today that can escape justice unless we fail to conclude that investigation because of the database. Because that's why you see our Corps Marshal always telling the operatives not to pursue. You don't need all those stress. But the might of enforcement, the pride when you're on the road that this man cannot rubbish me, are the one that make these people to get swayed off the line of directives at times. Because the mandate is that the most important thing is that get the number plate of that offender. Don't allow him to create more problem in the course of solving another one.
Because if we get someone
the moment I have your number and it's thrown to the desk officer of MVIS, that's National Vehicle Identification Scheme desk officer, you will get me all your profile, your name, your house address, and phone number. I can reach you at any time. So why would I want to engage in a cause that will create more problems in the course of getting you arrested? But at the same time, you know, anybody that sees the man escape at that moment, that's what brings impunity. And that's where law enforcement at times do want to insist on getting justice done right on the spot there when it's possible. Because ideally everybody will say, that man too, he did it and nothing happened. But nobody will know that something happened thereafter. Assuming we have data that do express or shows that something actually happened thereafter. Many other people, because in the Western world, it's not, the CCTV does not keep armed robbers on the spot.
Certainly not.
But one thing it does is that armed robber will not go unpunished. And the whole public has come to realize that, because as long there's technology somewhere that you cannot escape justice, when it goes round and we are all aware, people will be more careful.
Now let's talk about the officers themselves who fall short of the standard.
Yes.
Of course, we know that sometimes people can be mischievous and then, you know, concoct things, which is part of what we've been talking about. But in a situation where an officer is actually corporate or something falls short of the standard sometimes,
yes,
how do you handle, what's the mechanism within the system that handles and punishes those kind of officers?
Since I came in last year, some Lagosians that have taken the line of decency when it comes to reporting the misconduct of our men will tell you they've gotten justice. The moment that information gets to us, it's investigated. Independent investigator is put in place, whether within the system or outside the system, and you are given fair hearing. You are going to be invited to confront the officer. I just concluded one yesterday. The lawyer of that victim followed him to my office for the investigation. So it's not something that we cook up and at the end of the day we'll tell you stories. No, you are going to face, and if he's found guilty, the administrative procedure is also there. The disciplinary process is there. It's known to all the staff. They have it. So it's your decision to say, I want to touch the hedge, and if serpent bites you, you stand it. So we have all the machinery in place. We don't cover up the atrocities of our men. And that's the advantage of social media. Bringing out the vices. I'm not against it. But let us not be mischievous about it, knowing the implication on the establishment and the operatives. So if you see anything wrong, social media is a wonderful concept, because we've seen gridlock somewhere, somebody will picture it and send it into the social. Those are the positive aspect of it. Let us engage more in the ones that will uplift the nation, not the one that will bring down the nation and the system.
How is the FRSC engaging or making use of social media as a way of getting information, as a way of getting information from either the roads,
yes,
and also monitoring what the officers are doing one way or the other? How is FRSC doing that?
We have our intelligent operatives, virtually in every aspect of, like in Lagos now, I have them in all the units. And their role, you know, they're always undercover. Their role is they move around, get information, and send it to the social media. We also have our social media that is open to the public. We have the Instagram, we have the Facebook, we have the Twitter, we have the YouTube, open to the members of the public, where they can reach us to. And the website is also there. So you have it, and we have the latest concept. That's Akin Fadeyi initiative. That's the flagship that deals with all the vices in the society. FRSC adopted that too. That when you enter our establishment and you see something wrong, please flag it. So all these avenues are made available for members of the public. Let us exhaust it. Let us assess it. It enables us to deal with the individual, not run down the system. That is what, because an average person coming to the country, having bastardized the image of that establishment, it sends fear to them. Where you send the social media brutality of FRSC, and a foreigner is coming to the country, the moment he cites FRSC,
it just registers in the brain.
And you know, the person becomes apprehensive. So he meets them with aggression. It confronts them with aggression.
In fact, with a mindset that these people are dangerous.
Yes, even when they are being decent, because majority of FRSC officers are decent, complete gentlemen. You see the measure of approach because they know the implication. We don't tolerate incivility when it comes to dealing with members of the public. But you also agree with me that business of enforcement is never easy. And every person wants to go away with every atrocity is committed. And little effort to bring him to book becomes an issue. And we should all come together as a nation. When we see something wrong, let us not embrace it. Don't go to a crash scene and start videoing. Help that person. Don't see a man that is going against traffic and start videoing how he's being confronted by law enforcement agencies. Park to and has the same man to go back. We need to put our effort together to make the country work. And I think that's what is more important.
All right. Now, let's talk about the issue of collaboration. We see there are some terrains that may not necessarily be friendly in areas where you have to travel, but there are roads everywhere that the FRSC has to be on ground and assist here and there. But how are you collaborating with other agencies of government when it comes to even the police or NCDC and the others to ensure safety of your men on one hand, and also to ensure that people who need to be arrested are arrested the way it's supposed to be?
I think I will pick from Lagos slogan.
Okay.
Ajumoshiwan.
Okay.
It's something that cannot be done as an individual.
Okay.
And that's the essence of having, you remember in the last 33 years, FRSC has not carried any arsenal. And we've been able to operate successfully, despite all the little itches here and there. Because it's the responsibility of the police to protect our men. It's the responsibility of civil defense to protect our men. When we need to operate in a hostile environment, what we normally do is to send signal to police and civil defense to give us security coverage. Especially when, like now, we are doing this operation, remove all rickety vehicles. And you can imagine what rickety vehicle goes with rickety minds. And rickety minds can be aggressive at times. So maybe that man is the last zero for him to bring out a vehicle without wiper, without side mirror. It's like an expression of frustration as far as I'm concerned. So for you to deal with such a person, you need some backup. Because it could be aggressive, it could be desperate, and it's not something you use your hands. We've seen where you are trying to tow a rickety vehicle and the man goes note and say, you rather kill me here. So you rather prefer to kill people than put this vehicle in order. So when we have encounter with those kind of people, what do? We have a backup. They are just there to protect us, not to manhandle anybody in case there's an aggression towards us. And those are the collaboration we have enjoyed. And we've also collaborated with Lagos State traffic agencies too. Because one truth about Lagos State is that traffic management is so enormous. The challenges are so great that it's not something you can leave in the hands of just one establishment. Look at the operation on 3rd Mainland Bridge. Look at the one that is going all over the construction site that is going on everywhere.
Especially Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
So you need the attention and collaboration of virtually everybody, even the government. 3rd Mainland Bridge, Mr. Governor was even the one coming out, pleading with Lagosians, begging them to give us understanding, even when we know that it's for their own benefit. But we know we still have to plead for the inconveniences that are attached. And that's the measure of that collaboration, and it's been working.
Another issue is the issue of welfare of your men. Talk to us about that. A lot of people have this notion that military, paramilitary agencies in Nigeria, government is not taking care of them the way it's supposed to be, and it affects their morale and how they approach and engage with their work on a daily basis. In the FRSC, like you said, we see wonderful gentlemen, well-dressed every time, and clean gentlemen every time, well-shaved gentlemen. But talk to us about that welfare part of things. Are they happy the way they look? Is that how their minds are too?
Clean shavings. We are not actors in FRSC. The outward look is a reflection of the inside. Okay. You know, joy coming from outside
so to out of the abundance of what is inside.
That's what you see.
Outside. Okay.
Because a frustrated person, no matter how much you try, would not be concerned about what is outside. And I can't talk on behalf of the establishment because I'm not giving that mandate, but I can talk about myself as an operative of Federal Road Safety Corps. In the last 6 years, I've never had any cause to behold a salary 1 month. Kudos to Mr. President, if I may put it that way. In the last 6 years, I've never had cause to behold a salary.
You are a senior commander.
No, the salary, the platform for salary is equal.
All right.
There's no discrimination in payment.
Okay.
As I'm receiving my subordinates are receiving theirs at the same time. And you remember that if I receive, they don't receive, you will have had the noise even in the social media before now. So as far as FRSC is concerned, that's why the Corps Marshal could come out and hunt his men, if I may use that word, that do compromise. Because they've done all that is possible to make sure their welfare are taken care of. It's only the greedy ones, say it and let it be noted, that it's only the greedy ones that you see demanding for bribe on the highway. Because nobody is owing him, he's not hungry. Except what is taken is more than what is able, but what is resources is, his demand, his desire is more than what his resources could take care of. So all of us, and when it comes to running the system, they pay us the stipends that is required to run administratively your office. We know naturally resources are not, you can't take care of all the problems.
Resources are scarce.
Scarce. So, but the one they give you, you operate in line with what is. So they've never deprived us of all this. And we also have our cooperative. Okay. That is available to all staff.
That's anytime, an internal mechanism to help
there's need,
officers.
Maybe before the arrival of your salaries, you are in need of something, it also fill the gap for you. Okay. So welfare-wise, I don't have any problem.
Okay. All right. We have to leave you here now. Thank you very much, Sector Commander, Lagos State of the Federal Road Safety Corps. We really appreciate what you do in Lagos and what you do generally. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.